Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Hi, this is Anna and welcome to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. And in this episode, I interview Lewis Hicks. Lewis is a really inspiring guy. He's going to share his story and his journey from a life of crime to spiritual awareness and then on to entrepreneurship as he's building his online business. I can't wait to share this episode with you. You're going to love it. So, hi Lewis, I really appreciate you giving me the time. It's great to interview you today on Your Freedom Podcast, so thanks for giving me the time.
Thank you for interviewing me and showing your interest. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I know that we connected not that long ago actually, through Launch You and Accelerate, the program that I'm a coach within, and yeah, your story I just think is really, really inspiring. And Your Freedom Podcast, we focus on 3 pillars: freedom in love, which is not really in romantic relationships, around self-care and self-love and the love we give out to the world, really, because I think everything starts with love, doesn't it, really?
Of course.
Freedom in money, which is financial freedom, and then freedom in mind, because obviously Fred in the head, or your mindset, encompasses everything that we do. And those 3 pillars are what I feel have brought me equilibrium in my life, because if one of them has been off a bit kilter, I've not felt, it's felt imbalanced, because we all need money, don't we? And having that financial freedom helps us, and loving ourselves is so important, and the love we give into the world, because when ego gets in, that gives us an imbalance. And then also having, I say, a strong mindset. Mindset's probably not the right word, because even though we've got mind in there, it's probably the shortest word that can encompass everything that, it encompasses spirituality and all that kind of stuff, which I know you're really into. So
yeah,
those are the 3 pillars. And I think you've got a really good story for people who could be listening to this. Just because I think there's, it's so easy to end up in prison, which I know your story entails. And now you're on that path of freedom, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And you can inspire the masses. So how did you, tell us, share your story. How did you start getting into spirituality, firstly?
Well, basically what happened is I was dealing a lot of drugs back where they was legal back then, and then they become illegal, and a load of stuff happened. And it got all messy, and at the end of it, basically, I got a prison sentence, and it was quite a lengthy one of 8 years. I went to jail, and I really suffered with anxiety and stuff like that, and I got suggested to go to meditation, which I did touch base with in there, and I started to meditate, and you really just find out through those people who went to those groups, and discover stuff from the teacher who was teaching it. And that, as I went through the jails, and I kept up the meditation thing, and I did take advantage of it, because I still it got me out of doing other stuff as well, but I really wasn't taking it serious at that point. But then I come up to a point where I left jail, and I'm out in the real world now, still suffering with anxiety, terrible anxiety, struggling to get a job because people wouldn't employ me because of the sentence and all of that. And it was a bit of a nightmare, and I ended up getting into drugs again. I was already into drugs, so I picked up a spice habit when I was in there, and I ended up selling it as well when I got out. And and I sort of but when I was in there, someone gave me a book, and you know, it was called The Secret, which is, you know, it was about the law of attraction. I know it sounds mad and all that, and I was like, you know, I didn't really take it seriously at that point. And when they gave me that book, I still remember his name. His name was Stacks, and I still got to thank him to this day. Obviously, if I ever bump into him, he was doing a life.
Who was he? Who gave you the book?
He was a life set. He was doing a life sentence. He was only a young lad, but he was at his decap position then, so he might be out by now. But his name was Stacks. I can't remember his real Stacy. His real name was. Yeah, but he was a gypsy fella. He was absolutely amazing lad. But he gave me that book, and I never. I just asked him, "What does it do? What's the secret then?" And he was like, "Wow, you can manifest stuff in the mail." I went, "Really?" And just sort of like forgot about it. And you know, I got out. I was out a couple of years, and obviously I got into the spice, and I was selling a lot of spice, and you know, it sort of ran its course. I smoked myself to a stupor, to a point where I sort of nearly passed away, with thanks to my dad. He sort of pulled me out of it because I sort of choked on my own tongue, which was a nightmare. But I just woke up and he was pulling me out of it. There was paramedics in the room, whatever else. It was a nightmare. But with that, I sort of come out of it, and I was just thinking that book, and I don't know why, it was just in my head. And I got the book, I read it, and by the 4th chapter, I was understanding it. I was sort of thinking, yeah, this stuff's real. Do you know, I can relate to this all through my life. You know, little things. I was sat there as a kid wishing on a star, and thinking, you know, I want this, and I got it. You know, and it started turning into things, and I progressed and progressed through it. And obviously, a couple of bad things happened where I had to learn forgiveness. And it just progressed to a point where, you know, there was no doubt in my mind that this is real. And I was just so grateful for that, you know, for being given that book. And then I went on to study where that come from. And then it wasn't just what someone's made up. It was it ended up being from ancient Egypt, you know, and and then that just absolutely fascinated me. And then that was it. That was my life. I just started grounding, and I got into grounding, like just constantly.
Oh, yeah, you were saying that when we last spoke. Yeah, all the grounding.
Yeah, when you find science behind the sort of things what you're practicing, it just validates it. Do you know what I mean? So much more. And the validation of that, having like your positive charge, the Earth's negatively charged, and when you stand on that, I've actually done it myself. You know, so much. I've got my whole bed's wired up to being earthed right now. So every time I get into bed or I sit on the computer, I'm earthed. You know, I've got my feet on the mat, I've got my hand on the mouse, and I'm earthed. You know, and that I get a lot of pain and stuff like that, and it took a lot of that away. Even my dog, I put him on my earthing mat because he had problems, and he's just, you know, that's helped him no end. He runs around now. He's, you know, he ain't got no issues. He's a rescue, bless him. So, you know, and all through that spiritual sort of thing, it was just such an amazing experience for me to, you know, be able to take in and understand, and, you know, without the peer pressures of all these, you know, your friends, family, of judging you, going, oh, it's all rubbish, you know, it don't, you know, instead of actually me, because I'd let those sort of things affect me before, and I wouldn't have explored it anymore, because it would have been socially.
I don't know about you, because I think that when you go through a whole experience, and then let's face it, life's a whole experience, because even though, like, people say to me, oh, you went through this bad patch, and then they look at me and think, oh, you're really successful stuff, but you're not positive all the time. You still have shit you have to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Or problems that happen, you know, like, you're not like, oh, you go through this bad thing and then your life's perfect. Life's journey. It's just that you're able to handle those things in a different way than you usually able to. But I can't remember what my point. I can't remember what I was going to say that when you go through something that's quite a big, I suppose, trauma, as it were, or a big life-changing thing, there's some friends that may have gone through other things like a bereavement or a challenge, and they can kind of relate to your journey. But then some friends just can't at all. So they're probably the ones that don't really get the spirituality because they've never gone through anything, if you know what I mean. And
That's true, yeah.
And in a way, like, it's like to go through something, even though it's crap at the time and you can't see no way out sometimes at the time. I feel like a lot more, I don't know if you feel like this, I feel like a lot more enriched, like not financially or what I'm doing in my life, just on a knowing myself level, because I've spent a lot of time dealing with my own insecurities and like understanding me, understanding the things I don't like really about me, understanding the things that I think are quite, or just what I'm on this planet to do really. So just spending that time on myself and feeling grateful for what I have got has really enriched me. Whereas I think a lot of people are just so mad busy in life, they've never really been through anything, that they never get that time to actually pause and focus on themselves because they've never had to, because they've never been at rock bottom. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of see it sometimes, that some people just don't get it. And it's hard to relate to them once you've gone through something.
Yeah, what it is that a lot of people could be going through this life and not even be grateful for the most basic things. And that's one thing I come to realize is that I'm rich beyond my wildest dreams because I've got my dad who's still here now at 79, 78 years old. You know what I mean? I'm truly blessed. I get to look after him, you know, I get to give back something. And, you know, to be ungrateful or, you know, wanting something what, you know, without appreciating what you've already got, as soon as I started doing that and following those sort of lines of being just grateful, being able to have a conversation, to be able to walk and talk and be an able-bodied person, you know, just these basic things what I needed out to me, you know, by going through this journey. Loads of nice stuff started coming into my life, and I just started appreciating it. And I was like, thank you, just grateful for everything, whatever happened. And people go through life, and I did my whole life, and never was really grateful. I always felt like I was spoiled, you know, I was ungrateful. I wasn't, you know, appreciating. I wasn't appreciating the things, the basic things, what, you know, just make us who we are and give us what we want, you know. Otherwise, you know, just always wanting something and not be. I was already rich. I'm already rich. I'm rich beyond my wildest dreams. Like, I'm wealthy in love and family, you know. And without those things,
and
you know, without those things, you ain't got.
I used to talk about gratitude, but I used to just talk about it, but not really understand the word until I really felt gratitude, if you know what I mean.
It's liberating.
It is.
It's like the feeling of warmth inside of you, where you just think, oh my God, I found gratitude and happiness, and I was actually, when I had absolutely nothing, and I was like, I didn't have a job, I didn't, you know, I didn't have the tools I needed to do my job. You know, I had not many people wanting to help me, and you know, it just sort of, I was limited on what I could do. And just, even though despite all of those things, what would have been devastating to my ego 10 years ago just wasn't even an issue no more, you know. And I was just happy to be alive. And that sounds mad, but it was like the best gift come from the lowest point of my life, of just being at the bottom. And pain to me was necessary, and where I had to go through all of that just to be appreciative of being alive was a liberating experience. And you know, whatever happens from this point forward, I'm just going to be happy to be here and appreciate these experiences, you know. It was an amazing experience.
Exactly. So for people who could be listening to this, who might be living a bit of a life of crime, because I think sometimes it's so easy, you know, like, I think it's quite easy to kind of get into things, really, whether it be drugs or theft or what, you know, whatever it is. like sometimes once you get away with something a couple of times, it becomes a bit normal. From speaking to people that, or interviewing people that have gone down that line, what advice would you give someone who has begun to sort of like normalising things like of doing dealing and whatever, you know, from the experience that you've had along the way?
You've only got a shelf life. That's it. You've got limited time, and you never get away with nothing. Eventually, it always catches up to you via karma, and
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. You might rip somebody off and have loads of money. You might turn around and sell loads of drugs and whatever else, but you're living off the back of people's addictions, and you know, that is bad karma. And until you equalize yourself out of that, you know, how long can you live that life? I know from my time in prison, all the biggest drug dealers I knew throughout my career were all in there, you know, at one point or another, or they've all been doing heavy sentences. And is it really worth it? Because at the end of the day, you know, time's precious. And if you're the only time you're going to really know how precious it is if you lose somebody when you're sat in a cell and you can't do nothing about it. You know, I was so lucky to come out and I've still got my dad with me. You know, some people, some of my friends' dads died at 50, you know, and I've still got him today, and I still can, you know, just that alone, that'll keep me straight for the rest of my life now. You know, whatever. And
what about people who might have, you know, done time, come out, but they find it a bit difficult? Because I do think it is quite difficult, like you say, when you come out and, you know, you find it hard to get a job, because I think it is definitely easier in some respects doing your own thing, isn't it? Setting up your own business or doing something like that, although that has its challenges as well. But I think it's quite easy it's that attitude of looking for a quick win to get you on the straight and narrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what advice would you give people, like when you've been inside, you come out, and to not go back down that route, I suppose?
Keep the faith. That's all I can say to you, is because at the end of the day, I could so easily turn around. Do you know what? I was terrible for thieving out of shops. I was just terrible for it. Even though I had stacks of money, I didn't care. You know, if I'd go in there, if I could nick it, I'd nick it. But at the end of the day, once you realise that none of that you ain't getting away with it, even if you get away with it. Because
like you say, it is like a bit of a calm thing, because I do really believe in that. Like, it's that thing of like doing good what was that quote about doing the right thing even when no one's watching? Or so, I can't remember the quote now.
Yeah.
But it's like once you sort of get into a bit of spiritualism thing or the universe, it kind of comes back to you in other ways, doesn't it? I think what you put out, you get back, sort of thing.
Do you know what? It's even in science. There's even science can back that up. That something is omnipresent. It's always watching. It's always even particles. If you look into quantum mechanics, particles know they're aware you're looking at them. And you know what I mean? If you go into any depth of like Einstein's theories and stuff like that, it's just, you know, it's just that you can't get, you know, you could get away with it, but then you've got to live with that. You've got to carry that. And, you know, how far can that take you? Negativity can only get you so far. It will get you to where you want to be, but not how you want to be.
Not the long-term part of it. Yeah. Give a short-term win. That's what I've seen with people. And also just within myself, like I've done different courses over the time, and when I've put things together that has really been something that is like a short-term thing, but really the value for the person isn't a long, you know what I mean? It's got to be a win-win. I realise that. And like sometimes I've been a fool in the past where I've given my time too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, I've got to get the balance, because if I'm giving too much time, then I'm like really working for free. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's been a bit of a difficult thing for me. But it's about really, really going to help. You know, if you have that belief, or you're going out there with a good intention of helping people, and it comes back to you. That was why I kind of put all this whole podcast together, with the intention of helping people. It's only now that I'm thinking, you know what? I've interviewed some good people. I've had a few celebrities on here. It started to pick up momentum, and now I'm thinking, what can I do? How can I get this to the next level? You know what I mean? And I am looking at kind of monetizing it, but more leads really, rather than, you know, getting loads of money from it. But the initial intention, and it still is, I want to impact people's lives by us all. I think by sharing stories, it normalizes our own whatever normal, like we talked about before, whatever normal is. But by sharing stories, we realize that we're all unique and all different, and we've all had challenges. And actually, the common theme that I've realized by interviewing people is that everyone always realizes these same things about manifestation, visualization, the karma thing. And actually, if you go out in the world and actually give love, it's going to come back to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's exactly whatever you put out. You know, if you if you just put out positivity, and you just know that you've got to just know that it's already there, and you deserve it. You know, it wants you to have that. You know, but also it would give you negativity if that's what you want. You know, whatever you're putting out there, you'll get back. And that's one thing I've learned. And if you really sit down and you really think about it, and you go through each stage of your life, you'll understand that, and you'll put it together that, yeah, actually there, and there. You know, that's exactly what's happened in all of those situations.
Yeah, exactly.
You can sit there and try and explain it away, but how many times do you want to explain it away before, you know, it just keeps, you know, you keep putting these things together, and you know, it's, you know, you just got to come to terms with that it's real.
And the thing is, life's a journey as well, and the ego always pops up. Like, even within myself now, think, hold on a minute, reflect. Why are you doing that? You know what I mean? You have to like do a lot of self-talk.
Yeah.
Because the ego does always pop up. And I think I've had to pause and look back and think, look at how much I've done. You know, like, because we're always, as humans, we're like, we don't, because we're looking, we've all got these goals where we want to get to, we forget how much we have done. So for you, like, getting clean, and like, I know you've got other goals, you know what I mean? You're like at the start of your online world, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
But, you know, you've got all these other goals, but you've got to give yourself big kudos, because there's a lot of people who, having gone through your path, definitely wouldn't be where you're at, or maybe still in that circle of crime, or really sort of like not got clean, and also kind of feeling a lot of, I know you anxieties, I've had anxiety and it still pops up now and again, do you know what I mean? You're never free of it completely, but from where you were, I think you've really got to, it's sometimes you forget how far you've come, you know what I mean? Yeah. You've got to kind of give yourself a pat on the back for what you've done, because I think hearing, like I say, that's why I wanted to interview you, because I thought your story was really inspiring. So
yeah, there's just so many options out there for people nowadays, with online, with many businesses out there. You could start around the passion you love, you know, and you can actually make money from something you love. It's like getting paid to play football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, there's just options out there, and if you don't know those options, it's easy to go back to what you know. And you know, because you can make money quick time there, you can do it, and it's turned over and it's done. But you know, at what cost? For your own, you know, for your own sanity.
I keep saying, because I keep thinking my two boys, I think boys more than girls, and this is probably a generalized statement, end up getting into like bad gangs, or it's your mates that rub off on you in some respects. There's girls as well, but I think with having boys, you worry that they're going to get some girl pregnant, or I'm thinking that they're going to end up getting stabbed or something. You know, because now knife crime is so much bigger than it used to be. People used to have like a fist fight, didn't they? As now it's like knife crime. So my thing with my boys is that I'm just like focusing on like, do get into something you really love now, and in the future you're not going to have to do like a job that you hate.
God,
you know,
yeah.
It might be like your art, or you know, because I think it's always when you're a youngster, there's an adult that kind of pushes you down and makes you feel like you can't do something just because they didn't as an adult.
That's it.
I mean, like teachers and things like that.
Yeah.
When I was at parents' evening, or parents meeting, I said, I really hope if my son says he wants to be a footballer, or he wants to be an actor, or he wants to be whatever he says he wants to be, no one laughs at him. Because when you laugh at someone, that gives you a thing of, because we do that as adults, like, oh, isn't that, oh, they're there kind of thing, like, oh, what a big goal, like as if you're never gonna do it. But actually, it's about you can do whatever you want to do. You know?
Nowadays, there's just so many options out there. You can just do it so quickly, and with the right training, it's there's so many options for you to just go down whatever path you desire and make a business out. Do you know what? I'd never thought I'd make a business out of meditation, or or grounding, or spirituality, but that's what I'm doing. And that is my passion, because if I could bring or show somebody just a snippet of what I've took from this, I've done my job. I've provided value to somebody, and they could take that away with them, and that's just going to open and unfold even more and more for them as they go through their journey. And they can think, oh, that's because I watched, I used this product what this guy recommended, or anything. And if I could be part of that, just to point somebody in that direction, that would make me the happiest person ever.
Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because you've used spirituality to like help you throughout your journey, so you can help others by explaining how it's helped you. And that's what we're doing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. That's basically all you're doing. You're just recommending and saying, I've used this, it's brilliant, try it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's no different to writing a review, is it, on a product or whatever you do. But and the thing is that the benefits are so massive if you take the time to look at it, and you want to believe, you want to go into it, and you want to try and do it genuinely, and the possibilities are endless.
So if someone was listening to this and thought, hey, that Lewis seems a cool chap, he's got a cool story, he's been through a lot, he's got into spirituality, how do they kind of reach out to you to find out what you're doing right now? Is it best to reach out on Facebook, or you got a website? Or
I have got a website at the moment. I am on Facebook. It'd probably be better to contact me on Facebook first of all, but I am got a website called meditation-movement.com, and
we can put that, so if you send that to me, we can put that in the show notes and the comments. So anyone listening to this, have a look. We'll put Lewis's Facebook details. If you're listening on iTunes, we'll put it in the show comments. If you're listening on YouTube, it will be in the comments underneath, and we'll put the link to your website and Facebook. But reach out to Lewis, because he obviously, within his inspiring journey, he'll be able to point you in the right direction of what's helped him and help you, because I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end
of course, if we can help each other get through this, and possibly build a future for your legacy or whatever, I'd love to be part of that. I'd love to help somebody, and that's what we're here to do. It's about serving, giving, and being as true as possible.
Exactly. Because I think this must be millions of people out there that have always wanted to start their own business but don't know the first step. Do you know what I mean? And it is about sort of like, you've got to invest, you've got to learn the skills, but actually it all starts with where's your passion, isn't it?
That is one thing you got to realize. Is like, you could just build. I see a guy the other day built it on motocross, and I was chatting to my friend. He was sat here the other day, and I was telling him all about this. I was going, and he wants to make fishing lures, and I said, why don't you, man? I goes, do it. I goes, there's free training videos right here. Just watch that. Follow your guide. Do what I did, and this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'll help you. I'll come and video record you fishing if you want. You know what I mean? Whatever it takes, I would do that for him, and I'd help. I want to help people get to where they want to be online, and possibly, just give up. Because do you know what? When I was going and doing my plastering jobs, I just fell out of love with that job a long time ago, and it was hurting me as well, because by the end of the day I was in absolute bloody pain, and I was wearing that 9 to 5, and sometimes it was 6 to 7, like it was my best jacket. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Now I could just, I literally, I walk round the park with my dog, just dreaming up what I'm going to do next. It's amazing.
It's
You
nice
know?
now that you're actually doing it. So it just shows that you know, it is possible, and
Yeah,
you
it's
can do
very
it.
possible.
I think when you've been doing something that is manual, it does start taking its toll. I've seen that. Even like one of my friends who's been a massage therapist for years, now all her hands are getting arthritis in them because it's the same action that you're doing.
Yeah,
And as we sort of get older, we need to have like, well, we say plan B, but it should have been the plan A in the first place.
it
Really.
should have been the plan A. Oh, I don't know why people, do you know what I mean? But either way, do you know what the main reason why I had trouble committing to something like this was trust. And with the program I'm on, SFM and whatever else, it's just, I've seen him around, Stuart, for quite a while, and his longevity sort of convinced me. And then I actually took the step to, I tried it with some other guy, and it was a nightmare. It was like drop shipping, and it just didn't work. But this, just going through the training, you just know it's genuine. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that was the main
Exactly.
problem I had, was trust. And because I thought, I don't want to put all my time and money, or have to waste my time on something what is just not
I
going to
think
be
now
what.
with the last year, well, I keep saying year, it's nearly 2 years now, 18 months of within the pandemic, it's like opened people's eyes up even more on it, because
Yeah,
when I first started going online, it was when Blockbusters went bust, which was
yeah.
8 ago. I'd read this article about how Netflix had made an offer to Blockbusters and Blockbusters refused it and thought, who are Netflix? They're never going to take off.
Yeah,
And look what happened. Blockbusters went bust, and Netflix now taking over the world.
yeah,
And it was around that time when Blockbuster was going bust that I just thought, yeah, this digital stuff, I reckon it's going to take off. And everyone, all my friends thought I was weird, going online. And so it's funny now, this last year, like some of my friends that are in, like jobs and all that kind of stuff, have all been working from home, and all their companies have had to make them be able to go online and all that. It's like I've now not been in the weird club anymore. Everyone else is joining it. So I think there's a lot more people that are now thinking, actually, am I going to sit around and wait for the government and decide whether I'm going to finish my furlough, or, or I'm actually going to take charge of my own life now and do something for myself and learn these skills. Or even, I know people who've learned these skills and it's made them better in their role and help them get promotions,
yeah,
So,
definitely.
I think it's skills everyone needs, regardless of whether you want to do your own business or you just want to be better in your current job or whatever you're doing, because the times have changed.
Yeah, it's just a different place out there nowadays, and you need to adapt to the times. And for me, it was an easy option. You know what I mean? It was, all I had to do was find the right mentors and the right people and the right program to go through, and I've gone through a couple, and there's 2 really good ones, and I really appreciate yourself being, you've helped me a lot as well. And everything was gone through my stages of this process. It's just been, eye-opening every step of the way. And I can't wait. Now I think to myself, I could start up another business tomorrow and have a website up and running by the end of the day if I really wanted to.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I've got the tools and everything there in place to do so if I need it.
Exactly,
So in that, I literally done it. I've done it twice, because I actually made a mistake. I thought I was going to go into the mechanic thing, wasn't I? And that sort of backfired. But I'd already set it up. It took me a day to do that. Not even that. Because I've already done the training once. It's quite easy.
Exactly. It's just the topic, isn't it? It's just the actual interest of it. But you've got all the skills to be able to put everything together. So
yeah. And the tools and everything you need. And it's a great opportunity for people in situations like myself. And there must be loads of people out there who could really, really benefit from something like an online business around a passion they love.
And I think it helps with like I talked about the 3 pillars of focusing on you, loving yourself, financial freedom, and also your mindset as well, because there's so much like improve self-development stuff, you know. So if people listening to this are like inspired by Lewis's story, do reach out to him, because he can help you. If you've got an interest and you think, yeah, I can really relate to his story, we'll put Lewis's details in the comment section and reach out to him. He'll be able to help you start an online business, or even just be able to share some stuff that he's gone through, and with spirituality that's going to be able to help you with, you know, your own well-being, mentally and physically, because I think there's a lot of people that need help right now as regards to everything that's been going on, that, you know, everything with the pandemic's really hit people mentally. And I think, you know, I've gone down that sort of meditation route, and it's just really, really helped me. A few years ago, if you'd said I got into meditation, I laughed at you and thought, that bollocks, you know. But I have like these little rituals now that just help me chill out on an evening, or, you know, so definitely do reach out to Lewis. I'll put his Facebook details in there and he'll be able to help you. So I always ask people at the end of the interview, what does freedom mean to you? So what does freedom mean to you, Lewis?
Freedom means to me living life on my terms, and that's it. You know, not having to sacrifice all of my time and all my effort and all my whatever cartilage is left in my wrists and knees to, you know, earning money, when you could just, I literally could just sit here and earn money and just dream up whatever business I please. So, you know, it's just living life is how I want to live it, you know, not on somebody else's time, you know, because it's all about time. Somebody else's
opinion a lot of the time. There's so much politics in jobs these days, aren't there? Do you know what
exactly. I ain't got none of that sight bullshit exactly. No more. I love it. You know what I mean? I just got me. I wake up, go, right, Dad, well, you know, go on and boat, walk around the field. You know, it's great. You know, it's honestly, it's life I've always wanted, and I knew that I could probably achieve it, but until I got the right training and pointed in the right directions, you know, I wasn't going to do it. It was as simple as that. So I feel blessed. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Well, big thank you for sparing the time to come on the show. You're an inspiring guy. It's great to hear your story, and I'm sure everybody listening to your story will feel really, really buzzing and inspired too. So thanks for being brave and vulnerable and sharing the journey that you've been on. So big thank you, Lewis.
Thank you, Anna. It was a pleasure. Anytime.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and subscribe on my YouTube channel. And if you want to get more freedom in your life, then come and join Your Freedom Project Facebook group, which the link is below in the comments section. And I am giving you a copy of my visualization manifesting book. So manifest more freedom in your life and live the life of your dreams.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey.